Good evening. Welcome to WSBI, your resource for success podcast program, where you get to meet inspiring women-owned businesses from across the country. And now, for your host, Kimberly McLemore.
Okay, good evening and welcome to WSBI, your Resource for Success podcast program, where you get to meet inspiring entrepreneurs and women-owned businesses from across the country. I am your host, Kimberly McLemore, President, CEO of the Women's Small Business Initiative, LLC, and award-winning author. Tonight's show is partnered with ADP, the go-to place to better build and manage your business. And welcome to another night of sharing. With us, we have a special guest, Miguel Leo. Miguel is widely regarded as the godfather of Mexican cheese in the United States. Miguel's story humbly began at a cheese factory in his native Mexico as a teenager. When he was invited to travel to the United States as an apprentice, he jumped at the chance. One of the 6 children raised in poverty after the tragic death of his father in an earthquake, Miguel arrived in Wisconsin without money and speaking little English. As an illegal immigrant, he had no choice but to make a cardboard bed on the factory's boiler room floor. Despite these challenges, through grit, persistence, and hard work, Miguel Leo observed and learned every step of cheese making, from cleaning the equipment to cutting and packaging cheese for sale. He was among the first to recognize that the growing number of Latinx immigrants in the U.S. meant there would be a market for specialty Mexican cheeses, and eventually partnered with a master cheesemaker from Wisconsin to work with the Amish in Ohio to produce and sell 60-pound wheels of cotija cheese in Chicago metro area. The skyrocketing demand for his cheese led Leo to establish his own company, Mexican Cheese Producers, Inc. in 1994. He eventually constructed a state-of-the-art production plant in Darlington, Wisconsin, a prime location with access to the finest quality milk in the country. There he continued to perfect recipes for a variety of Mexican cheeses and took out patents for the machines used to produce them. Leo eventually sold his business for $50 million to the global company Sigma Alimentos, which still uses his recipes, and won the 2020 World Championship Cheese Contest with their flagship cotija cheese. So without further ado, please help me welcome to my platform, Miguel Leo. Hello, Miguel. How are you?
Hi, hello. How are you? Thank you for inviting me to your show.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
I really appreciate it.
Oh, you're very welcome, sir. It is extremely my pleasure, and I'm excited to have this conversation and to meet the godfather of cheese. I mean, come on now. What else? what an opportunity. What a great opportunity to hear your story, sir. I will have to say I have never heard of you, and I'm just so excited to share your story with my listeners and talk about your experiences and everything you've gone through as a child up till today and all the new things that you're doing. So before we actually jump into the full interview process here, I just really would love for you to tell my listeners a little bit more about who Miguel Leo really is.
Yeah, thank you very much. Miguel Leo is entrepreneur. They always is a little bit excited to create and to produce new and to bring new ideas to this. And it's how I started with the cheese and changed it into a big thing here in the United States. Because I'm a little bit stubborn and keep going, pushing my ideas till I conquer them. That is how I started in the cheese business, and for me, it was the only opportunity that I took to start learning with the sparing of people here in Wisconsin that they teach me the discipline to educating to how to start working in a cheese factory in the United States. It took me a lot of them for me, because coming from another country and by myself and everything, and not speaking the language, it was a new achievement for me. And that was a complicated part, because my feelings and my fears and everything, and I didn't have nobody to support me and help me out. My parents just died, and my mom was hardworking, and she has to survive too in Mexico. And it was a situation that I have to stand up by myself and prove it to me that it takes a lot of guts to make it in this country, in any country. It takes a lot of discipline. Then the life teach me, how to go for it, and a lot of patience to be aggressive in life when the opportunity show up, and don't get dizzy in my life to get distracted for drink alcohol or spend my money on a lot of things that I shouldn't. I save all my money and start planning every detail for the next step that I was going to do. I mean, those things that really helped me out for me to stand up to achieve everything that I conquered here in the United States. And more or less, I have a good teacher. Is the same life. I call them University of Life.
Yes.
I am graduated, and I have probably a master's degree on it. And because I really do pay attention in life, it's hard for me to read, and I wasn't a good student in that time, and that made me kind of like pay more attention to everything, and I knew that I have a little bit disadvantage, but I know that my creativity and me always is pushing to get better. And that is the part of it for Miguel, the find out in his own, and that is how I try to explain it in my book. I hope so people learn it that way. When you don't have no support and nobody to help you out, how you can take the opportunities without wasting time.
Right. And with you at such a young age, the hardship that you had to go through, like I said, it's one thing from having to come from another country and then have to come here to the U.S. by yourself. That alone isn't, the average person, it makes it very hard to deal with it, and then there's people here that live in the United States that don't even understand how fortunate they are. And then you have to come here and you literally, like you said, you're by yourself, no one to help you. You didn't speak the language. You seen an opportunity and you learned. And that learning is what drove you to who you are today. And it continues to drive you because you continue to grow. You continue to do things, out in the Mexico community as well as continue doing things here in the U.S. So talk to me a little bit more about the journey of what you learned in those years about the cheese making process, and why was it so interesting to you?
Yeah, when I was in Mexico learning, and I expected more or less, well, I never went to America before. I don't know how the American people was. But the cheese factory that I was in Mexico was supposed to be a nice factory. But when I showed up in the United States and I see the difference in how the people is organized and how the milk is, the people and here is proud to have the best milk. And Mexico is a little bit different because they cheat in everything.
Wow.
They put in the milk, they put water on it to dilute it, and they put a lot of more stuff on it to sell. I mean, the same milk, you don't know, they kind of like adulterated putting water on it. And in Wisconsin, the farmers are very proud to have a best quality milk. The fatter the milk it is, the better, the richer it is for the cheese too.
Okay.
And in Mexico, it's kind of like it's a little bit different, but it's hard to learn, and I was learning, but that gave me the advantage to have two different kinds of worlds that how to make different kinds of cheese. I learned in the United States, the Klondike cheese and the Bullhosers. I mean, they are excellent people to the ones I learned from it, and they teach me to make Monterey Jack, cheddar cheese, Munster cheese, mozzarella cheese, Colby cheese. Well, I learned quite a few different types of cheese, how to make it. And it's how later on life gave me the opportunity for me to go with Dave Webster, my partner, and win a contest with the Amish. We compete with 5 different people, cheese makers all over the United States, and we win the contest. And they gave you the opportunity for us to start making it. And it's why I was really excited. I was patient. I was living in a mattress and air couches. I mean, air beds and all that kind of stuff. And I didn't have furniture. I didn't have nothing. I mean, I was saving the most money I could. And then I blamed my wife, and then she started getting me the support, that I was looking for. And that gave me extra energy to keep going and pushing, to establish a family.
Yes.
And that's how I did it. And I think, you know what, when you are from another country and you don't have nobody to lean on it, like your parents to support you and everything, you see the opportunities a little bit different than the people are already here.
Absolutely.
Have the support. They don't take over. They don't go after the aggressiveness. They keep going drinking and partying, wasting time that it shouldn't, And it's okay to have fun, but don't lose your focus.
Right. Right.
That's what I learned.
And I love what you just said, but the thing that stood out to me the most is I love the word patience. You talked about you had to be patient in how the learning process and understanding, and you gave up everything in order to build this empire. And that's what it takes. With the patience that you had, the learning process. And I agree with you that when you were coming from a different country and you're coming here and you see the opportunity that we here takes, like I said, we take it for granted that because we know we have opportunities, it's easy to fall down. It's easy to get back up. People are always there for you when you're already a part of the country. We see this happen every day. And, there's that constant attitude of, somebody needs to help me. We don't have enough of this. You have more opportunities today than we've ever had in many, many years. So when you hear stories like yours, becoming a success, one thing I get tired of hearing from other people is what they can't do. Listen and learn and realize what you can do. And it doesn't matter where you come from. It's about where you're going to. And you ran. You didn't just crawl and walk. You actually ran from the beginning of your story. You know what I mean? I know it sounds funny, but you literally ran from the beginning of your story up till now, and you continue to run. You continue to grow. So let's move a little bit further into this conversation about what you sold the business for $50 million. So what have you done, and what are you doing now and continuing to do since you've sold the actual business, the cheese factory business?
Yes. After I sold my cheese factory, and I had a very bad disappointment in my life because everything that I was fighting for and achieving for my family and the whole 9 yards fall apart. I mean, it's my wife cheated on me. She went all over the place. And I kind of I went a little bit wild, and I took a break because it hit me really hard. And I didn't want to make any decisions because I know if I make decisions, I be with a wrong decision because I was angry, I was sad, I was in a lot of emotions. Then that time that I could easier make the wrong decision to bring me a big mistake later on.
Right.
This is why I took a break. Breathe deeply, pass it, the whole thing on it. And now I come back with help at the university to start Wisconsin, to start doing a new recipe. I want to put science in the Mexican cheese because I thought what is happening now, the cheese industry and the Mexican cheese is changing too much flavors. And it's not the right flavor. Like you ethnic cheese, you make a cheese in Mexico really ethnic the way it should, and you industrialize the whole thing, the flavor change. It's not the same.
Wow.
And that is where we want to put science into the University of Wisconsin. They approved me on it to have a different formula. and that is why I was going for it. And I hope so I can patent that and change the whole thing to have a better taste, like an authentic ethnic cheese. Mexican cheese, though.
Wow.
That is my new step that I'm working on it.
Okay. Well,
As soon as I pass the bad times.
Oh my goodness. Well, first of all, I want to say, I'm so sorry to hear about your personal story there. And, it's unfortunate that it has to happen. It happens to people, and it's very unfortunate it happened to you. Like you said, earlier in your story, you were talking about how important family was to you, and having a wife that understood who you were, and you being able to obviously support for that family. So I do apologize, and, that you had to go through that. And it's so unfortunate that, when you're trying to reach something in your life and a goal, that when you think you have the support there, you don't always have the support that you really want from those individuals. But, like you said, you did a great thing by taking a step back, giving yourself the time that you needed to grieve, because it is a grieving process. Anybody who's gone through divorce, I know, been there more than once. So, it's like, you get angry. You're frustrated. You're trying to understand how do you even get there, right? And so I absolutely understand that struggle, but you're standing up on your 2 feet again. And that's what's the most important, because we all get knocked down, and you've been knocked down more than once. Yeah. You were knocked down as a child. Yep. You lost your parents. You were knocked down in the process of trying to make it, into the business that you have. So you've been knocked down on more than one occasion. But the most important part is always about how do you stand back up to retrieve yourself, to get back out there and do the things that you love. And now you're stepping into something new. So, when you talk about the cheeses, the Mexican cheese versus the American cheese or any other cheeses, I'd never heard that. I didn't realize how much of a difference there was. And I will tell you, I love cheese. I'm a cheese fanatic. Even the doctor finally told me, look, you need to lay back on some of that cheese, because it's like catching up with me here in life, so, but, you start to think about it, but I just love my cheese, and I'm a big cheese and wine person, that type of thing. And sometimes just for me to have cheese, it's a meal. It's really become a meal for me because I really enjoy it. And blue cheese, I will tell you, is my favorite. And then there's a couple other ones that I like. But explain, why is it so significantly different compared, just a little bit. You don't have to get too deep into, because I know some of the things that you're doing is very important, in that these are the things that we will learn later on in life. But why is it so unique compared to other cheeses, and to keep it so authentic? Why is it so important to you?
For me, it's really it's important to have the authenticity of the Mexican product, or the flavors. That way, when you make a dish and the chef is making a dish, tastes the same in any place. That is the problem of the cooking and with the cheese, because it's not the same flavors all the time. And aging cheese, and really aged cheese, what is Monster cheese or any other kind of cheddar, all those products, they need 21 days to the cheese start breaking the point to start melting pretty good.
Oh, wow.
And takes a little bit of time. But Mexico, they have another cheese that doesn't melt. And that is the one they sell the most of it. And that is queso fresco and panela cheese. The queso fresco is a tapping cheese that crumbles in your hands, and it really makes the taste of the food a little bit cheesier, milkier flavor. And the panela cheese, you can put it in soups, in salads, in a lot of stuff. Chew it up and doesn't melt neither. And that is a really healthy cheese, because it's not that much fat on it.
Right.
They skim the milk. That way the cheese is no fat, it's just pure protein. And that is what the doctors recommended, to use it. All the melting cheese, all the American cheese, they taste great, but they are pretty fatty.
Right.
And that is how the taste comes from. The fat of the cheese.
Mm-hmm.
The fat is the ones age and make the cheese change flavor.
Oh, okay. Now that makes sense. Mm-hmm. No wonder the doctors are on me all the time. Okay, see, now I know the secret. Okay, now I understand. But yeah, it's pretty interesting. The process is so interesting, and it doesn't. I guess a lot of times when we're eating and buying things, we don't think about the process and all the steps it takes to have that fabulous cheese that we're, eating every day. So it's really good to have a little understanding of what you have to go through to ensure that everything is authenticated and that, we're getting a great product. And so, I just love the spirit that you have inside of you about what you're doing and why you do what you do. So I always ask my business people, what advice would you give to someone who wants to come into business? Doesn't necessarily have to be the same as you're doing, but what would you tell them?
A young kid, they want to start on it?
Anybody who wants to start a business, what would you tell them?
They're really concentrated in the first ideas. You want to have a bunch of it, but choose the first one that you are good in, the best of you, and go for it, for that one. Don't try to jump in another one and another one and another one. You pick the one you choose, and you finish it till you conquer something. Don't quit in the middle, because it's going to happen and jump another. It's a lot of obstacles that's coming to you that you need to start dealing with. Don't give up right away, Right. And see your idea that you're doing is acting and moving productive way. If not, you have the wrong one. I don't know I explain myself. If your idea is not achieving where your goals are, is not generating the money, it's stuck in one spot. Sometimes it have the one idea, it have a limitation on it, that you need to recognize it. You have to be focused. Is why very, very important to be focused and concentrated, and pick which one idea is achievable from you. That way you don't waste time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, I agree with you.
And that is very important, because you pretty soon you start working in something and it was the wrong idea. You couldn't say that. How you want to find out? If in a couple of years or didn't move and didn't generate the money that you was looking for, then don't stuck in that. You need to start motivating your idea to start moving in a different direction, to go farther. Right. And a lot of people quit that way. Before they not looking for another option, they quit and they change it. I don't know if you... Right. I will say to the people, to the new people, is that choose your idea and be patient.
Yes.
And be physical, mentally, and the best of you. Don't make physical, that means you have a physical condition, because for do anything, you need to have a physical condition. You need to start young your own business and start young your everything, because you have your energy on you. Sometimes when you are too old, it's a good idea, but you need to have everything on you. It's harder when you start getting too old. Right. To conquer everything on it. So you don't do it and organize yourself earlier. If you're wasting time, you want to see yourself in the mirror and say, fuck, I'm wasting time so bad. Right.
Yes. Well, I tell you, that's definitely some good advice. And I love that you said basically stick to the one thing that you really want to do, the one thing that you love, and watch it grow. And that's the key, the patience. Yes. You said it again. The key word is having patience. Yes, absolutely. Because you're right. It's so many opportunities today where, people can become an overnight success because they want everything right now, but they don't look at the longevity piece of it. They don't think about what is it going to take for them to get past that moment, as I call it, the courtship, then you have the honeymoon phase. Once they get past the honeymoon phase, most people don't last, in business or in anything that they do. So, I definitely agree with your assessment, and absolutely appreciate your knowledge and everything you share with our listeners tonight. And the one thing I would like to ask for you is, tell people how they can reach out to you or learn more about who you are, Miguel, and the products and services you may provide or the things you're doing in the future. Could you provide some information?
Yes, it's an Instagram. The Cheese Guy Success is my Instagram, and my webpage is www.thehouseofthecheesebuilt.com.
Okay. That's great. And we'll definitely have this information in the show notes so people can, they don't have to write it down or try to remember. But again, that's for Instagram, it's at Cheese Guy Success. And then, of course, for the website, it's thehousethatcheesebuilt.com. So for those who are listening, please, hear the story again. Take really good notes. The thing I love about this show is that I bring on people who are not just successful. It's not just about where they are or who they are today, but it's about the story that they're sharing, the nuggets that they're providing. I call it pink nuggets. Of course, some people like to use the word gold nuggets, but for me, it's the pink nuggets that we're providing to those who are trying to understand what it takes to become a business owner, to become not just a business owner, but a successful business owner. And a lot of it is time. Time and patience is really what it boils down to. And you've heard it from the best today. Miguel, it has been such a pleasure to have you on the show today. And I'm looking forward to hearing you, hopefully, and being able to communicate with you in the future. Because I think I heard you say something about a book, possibly. Did you say something about a book?
Yes, my book is coming out. It came 3 days ago.
Okay.
I started doing it, and it's pretty cool, my book.
What's the name of your book, Miguel?
Book, The House and the Cheese Built.
Okay.
That's the name of my book.
Okay. And where can we find the book at?
Well, my webpage is The House and the Cheese Built. You can find it there. Mm-hmm. And my Instagram, too.
Okay. All right.
Guys who said, you can find it there.
Okay. Awesome. Well, we'll definitely have to check that out, and I'll definitely have to reach back out to you so we can talk more about your book.
Yeah, you can get it in Amazon, sorry.
Okay.
And all over the place.
Excellent. But it definitely will, have to get into that. And like I said, I want to learn, talk more with you later on so we can hear more about the success of your book and what you got going on here in the near future. But until then, I really appreciate you coming on to the show and taking the time I know you're busy, so I really appreciate you taking a little bit of time with me today.
Thank you very much for inviting me to your shows. I'll be waiting for you to come back to you.
Absolutely. And it's my pleasure. And again, for everybody else, I hope that you have been truly listening to this show this evening and realizing how important. I think the biggest thing that we learned tonight is not, like I said, not just about the success that we have and what we heard from Mr. Miguel, but about the patience, the things that it takes for you to understand what your true passion is. And if you have the guts and have the unwavering desire to make it work, you are going to achieve what it is you want to achieve in life. And I think that's the most important thing that we learned today. His story is absolutely significant. And we hear a lot of stories like this when it comes to where people come from, whether it's poverty or not. But it's not about that as much as where you decide that you want to go in life. So again, I hope you all enjoyed this evening's show. And it always leads me to ask my listeners, what is your passion? How do you want to get there? And how willing are you to take the steps to get there? But if you need help, if you want someone to talk to about getting your dreams and turning those dreams into goals, please reach out to me at Kimberly@WSBILC@gmail.com, and let's chat about your dreams and turn them into those goals. One more of your resource for success. Monetary donations to support the podcast are now accepted on Cash App, PayPal, Good Pods, Tip Jar, or go directly to the website at www.WSBILC.com. And to learn more on how to better leverage your business, ADP has identified 5 primary challenges: hiring, financing, access to growth resources, employee experience, and access to payroll and HR tools. Educating yourself on what's best for your business is free, so contact our ADP rep, Ms. Antonia Nuez de Semanigo. Her information will be provided on the show notes. But again, we would like to thank you all for listening to us tonight. We'll be back next week with more amazing guests. Be sure to follow us on iHeartRadio or wherever you listen to your podcasts. But until then, enjoy the rest of your evening and good night.
Good night, everyone. We will be back next Thursday evening at 7 p.m. Follow us on Spreaker, www.spreaker.com/user/WSBI. View our new WSBI website anytime at www.wsbillc.com and on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn, and Instagram.